A radio show host in Seattle called Paul Gallant.
You are definitely living in the hindsight world today, Paul.
Do you feel there's been a consistent theme with the interceptions?
I think every interception really has a different story.
I was just kind of curious what Paul gets to say.
You got grow up, mother. Are you kidding me?
Paul Gallant, what the hell is wrong with you?
Hello and welcome aboard another episode of the Gallant Says podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and SoundCloud, but also available live exclusively on Twitch and YouTube, meaning it's not exclusive, but take your pick. You can interact with the show if you subscribe to twitch.tv/GallantSays or youtube.com/Paul Gallant. We have a chat bar on the side. You can watch the actual video itself, see my facial expressions, and see what everybody else is saying if you watch it that way. It is Friday, November 4th of 2022, and as you heard last night on the show, the Houston Astros have a 3-2 lead in the World Series after a 3-2 victory over the Philadelphia Phillies. A game that, my God, had me anxious and still has me a bit anxious. I've been really cocky about the Houston Astros since I started covering the team on a serious basis back in 2015, but specifically in 2017. And when you see a team win a World Series the way that that team did and continue the run of dominance that they've had, why wouldn't you get cocky? As somebody who grew up a New England Patriots fan, I have always been someone who is very good at pulling off the whole bougie, cake eater, elitist fan, looking down at anybody else who has the unfortunate fortune of, that's kind of repetitive, of being born somewhere else because their parents had sex somewhere else, and thus because they grew up in a specific region of the country, they are stuck with teams that probably aren't as good as either the Patriots or the Houston Astros. Jumping on the Astros bandwagon has been very natural for me, being cocky throughout these playoffs, to a lesser degree against the Seattle Mariners. I got some Seattle folks. I like the Seattle people. I like Mariners fans, but especially against Yankees fans, seeing as the Astros have beaten them now in 4 straight playoff series, the last of which being a sweep. It's very easy to just walk around, strutting around, feeling extremely confident. And yet, I don't feel any confidence going into Game 6 Saturday night against the Phillies. So I need some help from you guys. How do you go about faking your confidence or cockiness? And that is a key in life, right? The people who generally do things that aren't expected are the ones that are going to have a little extra confidence in themselves when perhaps it's misplaced. Being a realist sucks. And I will say that while I can be a cocky sports fan, the actual confidence that I have in myself on a regular basis isn't particularly high. Why is that? You might be asking yourself. Well, think about it from this perspective. I'm 33 years old. I thought by this point I would be a big star in radio. I'd be doing afternoons somewhere, maybe Boston. I'd be making 6 figures a year. I'd be married. Probably have some kids. And yet here I am now, 33 years old, single, on his 3rd radio job. Just not that confident in myself. King of all Twitches says, you sound like Ennis. It's not that I'm not bitter about it. It's more that I realize what I am. I'm a guy who has talent in this field. That's for damn sure. Think I'm good at TV. Think I'm good at radio. But I don't have as much confidence in myself to like go up to the hottest person at a bar and say, hey, what's going on? Even though I'm like a decent looking person. This is just me talking through. And I wish I was better at having irrational confidence or being cocky in situations where I honestly shouldn't be. And to circle it back to the Astros, I'm just having a hard time being confident in this team right now for Game 6 because of how fucking close this series has been. It has been, man, quite the nail biter throughout. And yeah, Game 1 started off great. You have the 5-1 lead. Game 2 started off even better with the 3 doubles in a row. Game number 4, hit the Phillies along the way. But, Game 3, all those home runs that happened. Game 1, Justin Verlander blows the lead. Last night, the Astros, I think we're very fortunate with the way things went for Justin Verlander in the first, in the second, in the fifth. Trey Mancini falling on the ball in the 8th. Chas McCormick making that beautiful catch in the 9th. Like, last night was a real toss-up, a coin flip of a game, and the Astros happened to get the lucky break this time around as opposed to some of those series that we've seen the last couple of years against the Nationals, against the Braves last year. So going into Saturday, I know I should be feeling confident just given what this team is, and I feel like sacrilegious or a heretic or something like that I don't have full faith in the Astros for Saturday night's game. Yet here I am, even with Framber Valdez on the hill, the guy who has been more consistent this postseason, with a day of rest for a bullpen that has been fantastic, with a lineup that is on par with that of the Phillies, with Jeremy Pena doing what he has been doing, likely on his way to win a World Series MVP should the Astros win this in 6 or in 7. Here I am, not feeling confident, and I want to know what you irrationally confident people do. And Fuentes Respecter says, yo, 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 what is up, En Fuentes Respecter? King of all Twitches says, just get roofies and do it the easy way. Hey, first off, that's fucked up. Are you talking about giving myself the roofies? That ain't gonna work. If I'm knocking myself out at a baseball game, how am I going to be able to pay attention and send out some hot piping baseball takes that everyone expects me to have? No, that's fucked up. We're not going to enable roofie talk in this podcast. No, not at least like that. Yeah, King of all Twitches is going further. I'm not even going to read that comment. Fuck off with that, okay? Now, maybe some confidence enhancers for myself would work. I can't speak from experience because I would never do such a thing. But I've heard that if you go to Las Vegas and give yourself a Vyvanse with a couple of drinks, it's a kind of Adderall, that you feel a little bit more energetic, a little bit more confident. Maybe you are dancing up a storm when you don't actually have any moves outside of, your routine white guy moves. Like, it's pretty much my go-to right there. You can watch that, twitch.tv/Gallant Says, youtube.com/Paul Gallant to see the moves in action. A couple of drinks generally make you feel a little bit better. I will say that from time to time, too, I've heard / experience when I'm in states where it's legal, if you smoke a little Oski-Woski of the sativa variant, it actually can liven you up and feel a little confident, make you walk around like you're James Bond with a dirty martini glass in your hand. And that's the only way to do a martini, by the way. Shake it, not stirred. Got to do a vodka martini. When you create the drink, you get a lemon, you rub it all over the glass, and then you put in an extra amount of olive juice, a lot of vodka, and beautiful. Dry vermouth as well. Look at Paul, he's the bougie cocktail drinker. En Fuentes Respecter says, I used to be prescribed 70 milligrams of Vyvanse. I needed alcohol to come down from that. Yeah, that stuff's intense, I've heard. I've never done it. I'm not a Seattle Seahawk. A Seattle Seahawk? No. But those are PEDs. That is for damn sure. They're confidence PEDs as well. I know in, I want to say Harry Potter, not the Deathly Hallows, that's the last one. The Half-Blood Prince, I'm pretty sure that while talking to Professor Slughorn, Harry Potter takes this luck potion, and it makes him feel extremely confident. But that ain't real, sadly. That is from the magical world. The magical world where, per J.K. Rowling, there are still only 2 genders. But, that's her choice. That's her conversation to have. I think it's really funny how that always comes up. Like, you can just enjoy the books. You don't have to get the political takes of the people who write them or the people who acted in the movies or get mad about them for it, You can, because there's going to be headlines out there that are going to make you get pissed off about it, but, let J.K. Rowling be. Let Daniel Radcliffe be. Let them all be. They were great books, and the movies got better as they went on. But how am I going to fake some confidence for Saturday? I'm feeling nervous, even with the Astros up 3-2. Maybe I should feel nervous. I know that I have said this before, that sometimes as a fan, you feel obligated to take the team that you're not playing against, but your favorite team is playing against a little more seriously than you should. I know growing up, going to Patriots games, I always felt like the Patriots would kick the Colts' ass. I thought they were just a soft, finesse, anti-football kind of team. And that when they would play the big bad Patriots out in the snow, the Patriots would just bully them and pretzel them and kick their ass. However, I always remember driving into the game, like forcing myself to think nervously about the game because for some reason, even though I'm not superstitious, I thought that that could potentially affect the outcome of the game. I would be on the same level as all those players in the Patriots locker room, thinking to myself, yeah, I'm focused, they're focused, we're all focused. We're not going to take the Colts lightly. Said it correctly the second time around. So what do I do? What do you do? I don't see a lot of suggestions on your end. I think a lot of us are just kind of like, yeah, I'm not as confident as I want to be. I'm not as confident as I need to be. How do you fake confidence? Like every now and then you can pull it off, but you generally need to have some sort of shot in the ego to make yourself feel that way before someone's got to gas you up. Maybe we all need to have some sort of Ray Lewis in our corner, just sitting next to us at all times. Ray Lewis touches you on the chest. Paul Gallant, let me tell you this. You're going to walk across that bar, and the sea is going to part, and you're going to see that girl with a big ol' ass and the abs that's in great shape. She's looking at you. She's looking hot, and you're going to go up to her, and you're going to tap her on the shoulder, and you're going to say, baby girl, what's going on? And you're going to do it, and you're going to feel good. G-Man on the YouTube says, they want Houston. They want Houston. But I'm done thinking about Philadelphians. Philadelphia fans, 1-2 in this series. They were talked up so much going into it. Philadelphia fans, I thought that they were going to make an impact on the series. I was told by Dodger Joe Davis that the Phillies taking the crowd out of the game was the biggest key. Where were they? Game 4. Where were they? Game 5. Were they paying attention Game 5? I can't say. Honestly, I think it's kind of funny, too. Did you see the post that Mattress Mac put out there? So Mattress Mac bought a bunch of Eagles fans tickets for the Texans-Eagles game last night. I only caught a little bit of it. I just feel bad for the Texans. I think they covered. But, they just don't have a whole lot of talent. Multiple people texted me last night saying, I don't know anyone on this team. Multiple people. And I was just like, yep, I know. I don't want to watch them the rest of the year. In fact, I'm thinking about getting Sunday tickets so I can watch the Seahawks the rest of the season. Anyway, I thought Phillies fans were about that life. And Mattress Mac had this really funny post because I guess people have been pushing for him to throw out the first pitch on Saturday. And it was kind of Taylor Swiftish. You've seen Mattress Mac like every 5 fucking seconds. And not that there's anything wrong with that. With like the political ads up on TV. And you've seen Mattress Mac just gallery furniture ads. Mattress Mac has been all over these Fox broadcasts. He's got a shit ton of money. And then he's putting out a post on Twitter saying like, listen, we love that you guys are asking for me to throw out the first pitch, but you don't need to do that, okay? I love it. It's very Taylor Swiftian. And you know what? Like, he's going to turn down free publicity at the World Series. And he shouldn't, by the way. Mattress Mac is Houston's champion right now. I think everyone in Houston loves him even more after he was telling those Phillies fans to go fuck themselves. That's one of those things where some people might think that's going to actually be a public relations nightmare. That one is not. And speaking of public relations nightmares, how about the Brooklyn Nets and Kyrie Irving? Okay, guys, this is always fun to me. I don't work in public relations. I don't think I could work in public relations. I think that I'm too honest. What a flex. What a brag. I don't know how people in public relations do their job. How do you convince yourself to believe something when it's not true? How do you take up the same energy for something you know is a lie just because you're being paid for it? And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, Paul, you know what that's all about. Did you not embrace the Seahawks and the Mariners as soon as you moved to Seattle? That's true, but that was because I learned that if you come into a town, like when I first came to Houston, and you say, yeah, the Texans aren't that fucking good, the Astros are a waste of my time, James Harden plays basketball dishonorably, sometimes it rubs some of your fans the wrong way, right? You got to learn from your mistakes maybe in the past. But if you're in PR, it's not that dissimilar to coming into a new market and perhaps pandering and rooting for the teams that you're paid to cover. Whatever the case, I love it when a team steps in it or a player on a team steps in it and then the rest of the team has to deal with the fallout. Some comments here. Largo Bot on Twitch, twitch.tv/Gallant says, NBA, we want to empower our players' voices. Kyrie, so how about these Jews? NBA, no, not like that. G-Man also says, who would really want Kyrie after this year? It's a great question. But guess what, guys? The Nets took a stand. They suspended Kyrie Irving for at least 5 games without pay on Thursday, dismayed by his repeated failure to unequivocally say he has no anti-Semitic beliefs. What's really funny is that's all he fucking had to say. Say like, yeah, there was some bad stuff in this video. A 3.5-hour video. I was listening to Bomani Jones' podcast this week, and I had thought the same thing before I heard Bomani said it. But Bomani said, like, there's no way in fucking hell that Kyrie Irving watched a 3.5-hour movie. Zero chance. And then he posted it there. And Kyrie is somebody who, as Bomani laid out, wants to be taken seriously on a regular basis. But sometimes when it gets real, he's like, oh, I'm just joking. No. Either you want to be taken seriously all the time, or you never want to be taken seriously at all. I think there is a way to turn that on and off, and I think if you listen to me enough, you know when I'm being sarcastic and you know when I'm being serious. I actually have different voices for both. But with Kyrie Irving here, it was a very easy thing for him to just fall on the sword and say, like, I shouldn't have tweeted that out, instead of being a total asshole at that press conference, doubling down, saying, you're dehumanizing me for putting out a stupid post. We're not dehumanizing you. In fact, we are humanizing you and saying, like, hey, that was fucking dumb. Why'd you put it up? And if you had just said, yeah, I'm dumb, I shouldn't have posted it, this would all be in the rearview mirror. Irving refused to apologize earlier yesterday. So the Nets, in a statement, said, Kyrie Irving is currently unfit to be associated with the Brooklyn Nets. 5-game suspension. That'll show him, huh? We were dismayed today when given an opportunity in a media session that Kyrie Irving refused to unequivocally say he has no anti-Semitic beliefs, nor acknowledge specific hateful material in the film that he linked. This was not the first time he had the opportunity, but failed to clarify, the Nets said in a statement. Such failure to disavow anti-Semitism when given a clear opportunity to do so is deeply disturbing, is against the values of our organization, and constitutes conduct detrimental to the team. Accordingly, we are of the view that he is currently unfit to be associated with the Brooklyn Nets, but they're also not going to release him. Irving put a statement on Instagram. Was it a notes app? Let's see. Is his Instagram handle at... What the hell is... Okay, here is his statement. While doing... Did he just post a black square? Huh. Well, that's something else. He just posted a black square. Here's what it reads in the comments. While doing research, I'll let you guys see it. Twitch.tv/Gallant says. Here's the actual post itself. While doing research on YHWH. Hang on. What is YHWH? The name YHWH, consisting of the sequence of consonants Yod, He, Wa, He, is known as the Tetragrammaton. After the Babylonian exile from the 3rd century on, Jews used to use the word Yahweh for 2 reasons. Oh, so this is about the word Yahweh. Let's go a little bit further. Yahweh, the name of God of the Israelites, representing the biblical pronunciation of YHWH, the Hebrew name revealed to Moses in the book of Exodus. The name YHWH, consisting of the sequence of consonants Yod, He, Wa, He, is known as the Tetragrammaton. After blah, 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 blah. Okay. Well, if you're reading it, you can read all that stuff. I'm honestly not that interested. Let's go back to Kyrie Irving's post. While doing research on YHWH, I posted a documentary that contained some false anti-Semitic statements, narratives, and language that were untrue and offensive to the Jewish race and religion, and I take full accountability and responsibility for my actions. I am grateful to have a big platform to share knowledge, and I want to move forward by having an open dialogue to learn more and grow from this. The open dialogue is we are openly saying you're a fucking idiot for posting it. That's it. That's fine. You can move on from it, but Jesus. Or Yahweh. Come on, man. He could have just said, I didn't watch it. Shouldn't he have said it? Wouldn't we all believe him? I didn't watch it. Sorry, guys. I didn't take it that seriously. To all Jewish families and communities that are hurt. I love it when people use the word community, by the way. Man, sorry, community. I am deeply sorry to have caused you pain, and I apologize. I initially reacted out of emotion to being unjustly labeled anti-Semitic, instead of focusing on the healing process of my Jewish brothers and sisters that were hurt from the hateful remarks made in the documentary. Unjustly labeled anti-Semitic, you promoted anti-Semitic material, dude. Like, it's not that hard, you know? If I promoted anti-black material or anti-Asian material, I would be 100% anti-black or anti-Asian. It's that simple. If you promote it, that's what you are. Unless you have some sort of note like, this is fucking stupid, I can't believe this is out there, which you did not do. Continues the Kyrie Irving statement. I want to clarify any confusion on where I stand fighting against anti-Semitism. Spelled it wrong. By apologizing for posting the documentary without context and a factual explanation outlining the specific beliefs in the documentary I agreed with and disagreed with. I had no intentions to disrespect any Jewish cultural history regarding the Holocaust or perpetuate any hate. I am learning from this unfortunate event and hope we can find understanding between us all. I am no different than any other human being. I am a seeker of truth and knowledge, and I know who I am. Kyrie, hella, with fingers crossed. Oh, Jesus Christ, the first statement. Bro, don't do that. We are the real Semites. Therefore, we cannot be anti-Semitic. I'm done messing with mainstream outlets. Everybody's scared. What the fuck are you talking about? Are you Jewish? I forgot there's so many stupid people online. And this is the problem. When you know why misinformation and disinformation are actually allowed to be things? Because there's so many fucking stupid people online that will see anything posted online, like your aunt or uncle on Facebook who sees like a meme that's factually incorrect, whether it leans right or left, and they see it and they take it as a fact. Can we have some critical thinking online? Just a little bit of it. Anyway, let's go back to the Brooklyn Nets, not the Mets, the Brooklyn Nets trying to clean this up. Here is Kevin Durant asked about Kyrie Irving's controversy.
Kevin, what did you think of Kyrie's conduct this week?
I ain't here to judge nobody or talk down on nobody for how they feel, their views, anything. I just didn't like anything that went on. I feel like it was all unnecessary. I felt like we could have just kept playing basketball and kept quiet as an organization. I just don't like none of it.
Pause for a second. What, you're just going to bury your head in the sand and move on like it didn't happen? Sorry, that's not how it works. Of course, someone was going to ask Kyrie Irving a question about it. And I think some of these basketball players get so fucking entitled when they deal with people like us. And look, reporters are annoying. There's no doubt about it. But, I mean, you post something stupid, people want to know why you posted it. And very often basketball players act like they live in this cloud above you. Like that, what's that show? Altered Carbon, where you got all the rich people that are living up on this like mansion in the clouds and shit, and all the poors are living downstairs on the ground in this like sort of, I don't know, like Blade Runner-esque world. Largobot says Durant wants to rip Kyrie's tongue out. LOL. Honestly, I don't know about that. Anyway, let's continue with Kevin Durant's quote.
Do you feel the suspension is unfair?
I believe and trust in the organization to do what's right. It's an unfortunate situation for people that are impacted by this situation. I mean, it just sucks all around for everybody, and hopefully we can move past it.
Have you spoken to Kyrie, especially since his apology last night?
No, I haven't.
Well, that's interesting that he hasn't spoken to Kyrie since that happened, and he's saying he hopes everyone moves past it. Look, man, just say like Kyrie was a fucking idiot, and he knows it. Can't you say that about a teammate? Can't you say that about a coworker? Now, Durant clarified his statements in a tweet. Here it is. Just want to clarify the statements I made at shoot-around. I see some people are confused. I don't condone hate speech or anti-Semitism. I love that. It shouldn't need to be condoned, right? I'm about spreading love, always. Your Twitter would beg to disagree. Our game unites people with a capital U, and I want to make sure that's at the forefront. think we all want that, but yeah. Largobot says that the NBA Players Association on twitch.tv/Gallant says has Durant muzzled. G-Man says Durant just told Kyrie to shut up and play ball. Maybe. The NBA Players Association continues, Largobot, and the Nets are working out a settlement right now. What's the settlement, though? I mean, 5-game suspension, that sounds light for this. There's a ton of Jewish people in New York. He can't play there anymore. Especially since he was unapologetic at first. He could have nipped this all in the ass, or nipped in the bud, if you will, had he just apologized right away. You know, this is something that from time to time happens in life where you can take a stand and feel good about it, but maybe in the long run feel like shit, or you can just apologize right away. Generally, I just apologize right away. Being a Catholic and raised a Catholic, recovering Catholic, and feeling guilty about everything, that's one of the reasons that I feel that way about it. But he should have done that. Instead, he didn't. I'll tell you what, there's someone that used to work in radio with me, and I don't want to throw his name under the bus, but I remember he got in trouble for something he said on the air, and he doubled down. And if he had apologized, he would have been fine. At least in my opinion. Instead, he doubled down and they let him go. You are replaceable in this industry. What's interesting with Kyrie Irving is that the Nets probably don't feel he's replaceable and they want to get something in return for him. I don't know if that's going to happen. And I don't know who in the NBA would want him. The Miami Heat want somebody. Well, a lot of Jewish people in Miami. Los Angeles Lakers want him. Well, a lot of Jewish people in Los Angeles. One last thing before we hit the road. If I'm not mistaken, Houston voting 2022 November. I believe Tuesday is the day that we get to vote. Yes, November 8th, 2022. And I've been getting a lot of interesting texts from local government, et cetera, et cetera. And it's been kind of interesting to see the strategies that are given by these people. So I'm going to see if there's a way I can actually post an image here. No, I guess I can't. Well, that sucks. Hang on a second. Let me try and can I actually get the link here? Is there a link? Here we go. Okay, let's see if this works. I want to be able to show this on the actual Twitch stream itself. So, all right, let's scroll in here. I've been getting a lot of texts over the last couple of weeks. Largobot asks a question. Worked out next to Clint Sterner yesterday in the 24 Greenway Plaza gym. I used to go there all the time. You got an icebreaker for me to help me become buddies with the Baytown Badass? Actual icebreakers to make you friendly with Clint. What do I say here? I'm not going to talk about how he got the Baytown Badass nickname. No, I'm leaving that one alone. Maybe some other time. So I got this text from, let's transition over to it. Megan with Commissioner Jack Cagle. So here's the graphic. You can see it right there. Keep our Commissioner Jack Cagle. Checkmark. Fully fund and support law enforcement. Checkmark. Protect us from future flooding. Checkmark. Fight for property tax reform. Endorsed by law enforcement like Constable Ted Heath, Constable Mark Herman, Constable Phil Sandlin. And there's a couple little stickers underneath it. And then you got this picture of a guy who looks like a real estate agent. I got to say, impressive goatee, strong eyebrows. And here was the text that I got. This is Megan with the Commissioner, Jack Cagle campaign. Jack Cagle has stood up for our community. Now, let's stand up for him. Please vote for Commissioner Jack Cagle. The fuck does stand up for the community mean? Let's get examples. Let's get examples in this text message, Megan. Okay? This is half-assed. I don't like getting these text messages. Drives me fucking crazy. And this is what you're sending out? I see these check marks. Okay, great, neat, splendid. I need more. What else do we have? Ooh, okay. Here's another one. Let me move over to the actual video I have. Is this the Paul Betancourt one? I think this is it. I don't know. Let's see how this goes. This is a text advertisement that I got, again, from some political account.
We need everybody to go vote, right? You got it? Everybody, say the word. Everybody. And when they vote, they're going to follow Uncle Paul's advice. Are you ready? You're voting from the top of the ticket, Greg Abbott, one, all the way down to the bottom. And in this precinct, you're voting for Jack Hagel at the bottom of the ballot, right? Come on.
Okay. Isn't that lazy? Just a little bit. Hey, just vote for everybody. One. Hang on a second. I don't like that. I don't like voting that way. I think you should actually put a little bit of thought into who you vote for. It's one of the reasons I always get bothered when I've gone to a voting machine and I've been told, hey, you can't use your phone there. Well, I don't know. I want to do some last minute research on all these people. When I actually put in a vote, I don't want the vote to be mindless. I won't vote for something that I don't know about when I go to the vote and I actually vote on things. But I actually would like a little bit of information to vote on things. And I guess if you bring the phone there, someone could theoretically be telling you what to vote for, who to vote for, etc. I want to do extra research on it. And they want you to stay away from that. That's bullshit. I think that's complete bullshit. And this guy, Paul Betancourt, and what was the text message that came with it? Oh, it actually came from Paul Betancourt. This is Republican Senator Paul Betancourt. If you do not want Harris County to become the next Chicago, with rampant crime and corruption permanently, we need you to go turn out and vote. Republicans have a slight lead in turnout, but we need everyone to go vote. Vote for Republicans up and down the ballot. Early voting ends Friday, and Election Day is November 8th. I don't know that voting Republican straight means that you are going to get positive changes. Like, we should be voting for the best political candidate. And sometimes that means voting for someone who maybe is, I don't know, with good ideas, but doesn't lean your way. I like to have a little bit of diversity when it comes to like who's in charge. I like to have conflicting ideas. Maybe that's just me, and maybe that honestly doesn't work, but I hate this. Hey, just go up and down the ballot, you simple-minded fuck. Just vote all Republican. Fuck you. What else do we have? Oh, okay. Here's another one that I got. Here's the graphic. Hi, Paul. This is Zoe with the Texas Democrats. There are only 4 days left to elect new leadership up and down the ballot in Texas. Make a plan to vote and find your polling location here. Okay, so they don't tell me what to do, but they did send out this graphic. Jay Kleberg, Democratic nominee for Texas Land Commissioner. Susan Hayes, Democratic nominee for Agriculture Commissioner. Luke Warford, Democratic nominee for Railroad Commissioner. Well, let's get more than just the pictures. Let's get like the policy. Like, why am I voting for these people? Is there a link that actually has details about them? No. Another one I got before we get to the last video. Hey, Paul, this is Jennifer with the United We Dream Action. We're checking in with our Texas folks. Hi. Have you noticed how prices are going up for food, rent, and everything? Sweat. Stop to quit. Yes, I have. Fuck you. Do something about it. United We Dream. I have noticed. Who hasn't fucking noticed? Thank you for texting me a question. Please lose my goddamn number. And then one last one. And this comes with a video. Oh, wow. A negative political ad. You know what? Finally, someone who speaks my language.
The judge has the discretion to set the bond. My mom would be alive today if that judge had done his job.
Damn, that was quick. Hundreds murdered at their hands. And here is the actual text that came along with it. I guess that's Chuck Cook there. Chuck Cook's mom was stabbed to death in a Houston parking lot in broad daylight. That is awful. The murderer had 67 prior arrests, but a Democrat judge should let him out of jail on 2 felony bonds. Why don't you name the Democrat judge? Isn't that the person we should vote out? Is every single Democrat judge, because of their political leaning, the exact same judge? And look, I was just in Seattle. I do think that people that lean to the left are a little bit softer on crime than they need to be. But how about we just name the judge in that very specific instance? Is every single Democratic judge responsible for that? Some maybe would have done the same thing in their shoes. Others might not have. You don't know that for sure. It's a very simplistic way of creating a picture. This continues. Stop the murders. Vote out soft on crime judges. This is the only weekend of early voting. Go all the way down the ballot and vote out every Democrat judge. There's a lot of that. Some people will vote for the Democrat judge because they let out criminals. Interesting, and Fuentes Respecter. Here's all I'm going to say. If you vote, I think you should do a little homework before you go out. And I know that might take an hour, 2 hours, or something like that. But I'm not one to tell you how to believe about anything or how to vote about anything. I know how I feel, and I'm not uncomfortable sharing how I feel about stuff when it comes to politics. I'm not. But I'll never tell you how to feel about something. That's not my right. That's not my responsibility either. All I will say is, if you're going to go out and vote, do a little homework before. That's it. It's not that hard to do it. I know, maybe you're thinking to yourself, shit, like, do I have the time to do it? Maybe you don't, honestly. But a little research before you go. You're going to feel a lot better about it at the end of the day. Do you even have that much power? I don't want to make you too cynical or skeptical. I like to believe that we do have a say as voters, but there are times where I'm like, yeah, I don't have money. I don't really know how much sway, push I have ultimately. But just do a little research before you go out and vote, whether it's this weekend or on Tuesday. And Fuentes Respecter says, you assume everyone is a decent human being. I assume most people are decent human beings. I could be wrong on that front. I really could be. I know there's a lot of assholes out there. I do think that the good people outweigh the assholes. How much? I don't know. And I mean, I'm an asshole in my own right from time to time too. Just do a little research. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to tell you how to vote. I'll never do that. Nope. That's not me. But I do think that this is a great country because we have the ability to do all of these things. And if you want to impact some sort of change that helps benefit you, because that's what matters to you, like, fuck the greater good, in my opinion. I'm like, I vote for what is good for me. Less taxes? Yes. Less property taxes? Yes. That's good for me. I just bought a condo. I don't want to pay taxes. I heard they're a lot. I guess I'm going to find that out the hard way next year. Anyway, appreciate y'all for tuning into this weird edition of the Gallant Says podcast. We do this 5 times a week, 1 o'clock Central Time. Look at that. We actually stuck to a time every single day this week. If there is a big game, we will also do live Twitch shows at night. Sometimes we'll post them on podcast form. If you haven't subscribed to the Gallant Says podcast already for listening form, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and SoundCloud is how you do it. But if you want to watch the show, interact with the show, twitch.tv/Gallant Says, youtube.com/Paul Gallant is how you do it. Thank you so much for tuning in, for all of your support. I love all of you guys. So long. Farewell. Go Astros tomorrow night. Let's walk into that ballpark swinging our dicks around, or our vaginas, or whatever parts you might have, feeling super confident. Peace.